careful about Yuzong.
That Black Dragon can be coming out of nowhere.
And I like how they invested in a hero like this that's not all in just to protect the marksman. Like, they have proactive choices. MongolZ, they're not taking this line down. Like, they're not waiting until their marksmen are ready. Like, they are going to make waves.
I think that the Gatot has a lot on its plate. Not only do you need to peel for the rest of your team, especially against the Black Dragon form, but you need to make sure that GOA lands upon that bloody hunt. Let's jump into this second best of 3. We got Legion Esports on the blue side facing up against the MongolZ on the red side.
How's this for a start? Look at this. Cramgod walking into a brush. There were 2 in there. Might have gotten hooked in by Shenlin.
Okay. I mean, they want to get mid dominance as soon as possible. Makey already with the passive activated. No. Shocker. He's already put down to at least 5% of his HP. The first wave and 2 minions already lost to Shocker. He's not going to hit level 2 in time.
Double TKO for the MongolZ. 2 members of Legion Esports trio mid get sent back. This does still allow Joga to farm up. So at least that's a small win for Legion Esports. Looking at their emblem set here, in case you're wondering if anything changed for the Yuzhong in the hands of Mumu in terms of emblem builds, like, still looks pretty the same, you know, like agility, Festival of Blood.
But it's the choice of Quantum Charge,
instead of Temporal Rain.
Exactly. Or, well, not only just Temporal Rain, we've seen, wait, hold on, the Iron Hook does initially land onto Cramgod, who's more than happy to eat those hook. Don't slow down Joga. He needs to be twice the farm of Zetsu. He needs a 2-level lead to give Legion Esports extra confidence.
Faster, Joga, faster. Now, if not the Quantum Charge, if not the Temporal Rain, what would have been in the hands of the Yuzhong?
Potentially a Warcry, right? But then I think understandably when you're dealing up against Meow on this Uranus, it's like, how much value am I really going to get? How many mistakes is Meow going to make in the lane?
Yeah, you want to keep up the pressure. You know, hit, heal, movement speed up, hit, heal, movement speed up. And that's what they're doing here, sending Meow underneath his tier 1 in the shelter of his damage reduction underneath the energy shield. Mumu already level 4 here. Meow just about to approach. Legion Esports is hungry for EXP. That's why they're late here to the Turtle Pit.
Oh yeah, and now as we see them actually start up that turtle, they want to get as much space as possible. First off, Makey needs his passive available. Once it's up, then it's really unlikely that Legion Esports even wants to take the space, mainly because they just want to scale up, right? Joga still not even bothering to be on this side of the map, goes straight to his purple, but here we go. Daylight already caught, forced to flicker out of the way. You don't want your marksman to get hit just like that. He's going to be late to the lane as well.
Respect for Legion Esports. Yes, they are taking a knee here. Yes, they are expecting the fact that they're not the beat down at all, so they're avoiding any and all conflict, while the MongolZ know that they are up ahead, and Zetsu just single-handedly took that turtle. They wanted more, but at least they didn't force it.
But just look at what RinXK is doing. Oh, the flicker Iron Hook into the bloody hunt, canceled out, but RinXK has already found one, looking for Cramgod as well. He's going to sustain, but really, where is he going? AOG out, saves his life. No double kill, but a huge win for the MongolZ. What a call.
Shenlin. Y'all heard of hook flicker, right? To put people underneath your turret, but how about flicker hook to get into range wherein people weren't expecting you? Poor Daylight.
I mean, I don't know who made the call, whether it was Shenlin, but I feel like even RinXK, he understood. He lost that very first neutral objective. I say one of the side camps, the gold crab, so important for a lot of gold laners these days. First one was taken away. He recognized the pattern. He wants to last hit this. He calls Shenlin over. Hey, we get him.
He's going to be here.
He's going to be here for certain.
He's going to be here, just flickering hook, and they did get him. Oh my lord, now RinXK is way ahead. 2 levels, getting 2 levels!
Yeah, I mean, it's just a snowball effect, right? You get hit by the first Iron Hook, lose your flicker, you go back into lane, you end up dying, and now this is where the meta really shows its dark side, trying to snowball this out of control. The wave is cleared, however, no pickoffs just yet. Even though we did see the initial hit coming in from Makey, they need to pair it up with Shenlin, right? Land that alt Iron Hook immediately after.
I guess the MongolZ are hiding the fact that they lack AoE CC, which is sheer aggression. Like, sure, they are very specific in their targeting, but if they can lay down the smackdown where it matters, you don't have to keep people down. You can put them down. Now the second turtle has spawned at about half health here. I don't think Legion Esports is in any shape to fight just yet.
Oh, wait.
Joga's very far off. This is a bad position for him.
I mean, look at the position of Mumu right now. He's coming in with the Black Dragon form to force the situation, pulls the trigger. Bloody Hunt is already through. AOG to disengage, but the two are caught offside. Zetsu finds the turtles. Mumu eats Joga in the back line, and Cramgod the next to fall. Just the total winning situation for the MongolZ, and they're going to dive one more time against Daylight. Zetsu Not gonna let him walk away. Shenlin, can he hit? He doesn't! Steals the kill, but it doesn't matter. That first tier 1 turret top side opens up.
The Shenlin shimmy, he did it again. His signature move, the flicker hook, just to confirm the kill. Not to mention the Mongolian dragon in Mumukning. Hooks for the past, minute and a half. Didn't even bite down onto anyone for that Lord take.
Oh, yeah. Has to take his time now. Everybody's got their ults. Joga will quickly... Oh, all right. It looks like Iron Hook sweeved in between to find one. Daylight is out of here. Shenlin quickly flickers away. Doesn't want to give a trade back. Zetsu and Rinix K back off as the AOG comes on through. Tier... Oh, wait. It's breaking. Rinix K, he's actually getting back into the middle of this fight. He doesn't mind it. He's scaled up just fine. He just needs a target to heal back up. And the Shatter doesn't connect onto the right targets. Good blocks. The Mongols walk away. Again, I feel like they're so close to that tipping point, and then they just back off. They're putting us on edge.
And I think that's what they're doing on Legion Esports as well. They're feinting the overextension. They're making Legion Esports think, hey, we're going to stay a second longer. You want to punish us? But they don't. The Mongols, they're holding on to this lead. Gideon, it's at what now? 5,500 gold, give or take? In-game, dude, that's almost 3K between Daylight and Rinix K. I'd say this is still a great situation. Even Mikey. Mikey's looking good too, especially against Shocker, who I would argue right now for the Novaria isn't quite burst just yet. She's mostly utility.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why she is leaning in towards the Lightning Truncheon in the first place. Just that extra bit of burst, considering that the Mongols are already staying pretty close together. The extra AOE is definitely going to help. Considering, unfortunately for Daylight, just again not getting that many stacks on the Sky Piercer. He needs that mistake from the Mongols to happen.
Yeah, the Sky Piercer is currently a liability for Daylight, sitting at just 1 kill. 12 minutes in, Joga picking up the endless battle. Again, if there's anything we learned from the first series today, patience seems to be a huge part of playing Yu Xin in the current metagame. And when it does pay off, boy oh boy, it pays off. So it's not over till it's over. Legion Esports down by about 5,000, 6,000 gold. They hear and they know the Mongols are taking the Lord. Get soft reset here. Meow can only do so much. There is the Mountain Shocker. Lord at less than half health. Oh, I see what you're talking about. They're just.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as the Mountain Shark comes out, Mongols are like, no, we don't need to do anything. Oh, boat's already gone. They're trying to get mid-priority, but honestly, they're just not in position to steal this away. And Rinix K will take that. Oh, they're forcing this. Okay, Black Dragon form to zone them up. Wait, Joga, he made a mistake. He's down, and now with the Petrified through, he's going to be chased. The passive is already broken. Mumu is going to chase it to the edge of the earth. Quickly with the Traceless gets out. Zetsu looking to cut him off. Cram God is nearby, holding that taunt up. Makey wants it. He needs to get this kill, but nobody has it. AOG to get him back out. Star Shatter's good, but doesn't find any targets. The disengage works, and now the inhibitor falls. Rinix K and the Mongols slowly encapsulate Legion Esports.
Joga, with his performative escape, as amazing as it is, didn't really lead to much. Legion Esports spent quite a few resources just to make sure their jungler did not die.
If anything, it was actually a bigger mistake, right? They end up losing the mid inhibitor because of that. And all of this because he traceless into the wrong direction.
I don't know what the plan was, and yes, Mumu is still a threat, but maybe there was a bigger plan here. All inhibitors are falling. Once more, the Black Dragon!
Yeah, they're going to force it out. They've got Lord on their side. They're looking for the end game here. As Cram God is already chucked out. Meow, he's trying his best, but really, oh wait, hold on. Shenlin ends up losing his immortality as the Blaze collapses straight away. Mongols, cool, calm, collected. These guys, they're just taking their time with this before they close out this game.
The hook was never late, Gideon. The hook was always on time. That's the first game in the series. Match point for the Mongols. Legion, though, they had a solid draft. I think if there is one obvious pain point, maybe they invested too much in the Uranus.
I have to agree, especially as a first pick as well, knowing that the composition potentially, hey, I want to make sure that we have stable laners here, right? I want to make sure that with those stable laners, we're able to make things happen. We can allow our Yi Xin to farm up as hard as possible. Second biggest pain point for me in particular, that mid lane. Novaria was not able to kind of control that lane enough to make it happen, and the threat of the Iron Hook was just too dangerous.
They may have overcomplicated and added way too many layers to when they actually just wanted to be as honest as they could be. It's interesting how this came through, but the Mongols knew how to punish. The Mongols came out the victor, and I wouldn't have it any way. Look at Shenlin. This man is a unit. This man is the leader of this squad. yes, from where we're looking, his hooks might have been coming at weird times, but maybe that's how they're comfortable. Maybe that's when they wanted to, that's how they want to do it.
Maybe. I think maybe the final call comes from their captain, right?
Yeah.
In the meantime, whatever happens in between, just communicate what resources that you have. Hey, my iron hook happens to be on cooldown, guys. Let's just chill for a second.
Yep, this is just a fate. This is just a fate. Now,
it's scary to see the team play the way that they do, right? Because it feels so cold, so calculated, in such an odd manner, right?
like they're machines.
Exactly, because we're used to seeing, especially amongst the Southeast Asian MPL regions, especially when it comes down to the Philippines, very macro-based, right? We make a clean decision, we go in, we go out, we execute, job's done, right? Here, there's a lot of breathing room with how cold and calculated they are, even though they are looking to play like machines.
I think that's the exact word we're looking for. Their margin of error is so big. They can play around that. They can play as if the hook was going to miss, but find a way to make it hit anyways and get so much more when they eventually do. And then even force, all-time Mekong greats like Joga to make mistakes like that, to just run out and ask for the rest of Legion help.
I mean, maybe it's just, first game jitters, fingers are a little cold, get the hand warmers out.
This is a new composition for Legion.
It is. I mean, at the same time, with how much we've seen them play and perform on the international stage itself, I think they want redemption. Just one time where they can make it with the big boys in the group stage.
Eterna, the Franco makes a debut. How'd you like it?
It was great. It was great. Really great early game pressure. And I think that was one of the main reasons why the Granger was really shut down in the early game. I think you guys mentioned it towards the end of the game that the Sky Piercer just really wasn't hitting its mark. And one of the reasons why was that early game pressure. At the end, what was he sitting on? Like 1-4-1?
1-5.
And it's unfortunate, right? Because with a Granger, you'd want to have that early game lead, early game pressure to deal out that damage towards that mid game. But that moment just really didn't hit, and unfortunately on the other side with the the Kimmy and the Bruno as well finally making its debut here at the Wild Cards, we saw it work out really, really well. So right now, Legion are caught in the position that they're one game away of once again history repeating itself. Can they find their revenge? What was going on? What do they need to improve coming into game number 2?
I think it begs to be said, the draft.
I mean, draft.
Like, invest in the right picks to start. Like, maybe the mental was too much. Like, it's like, all right, check this out. Uranus.
Guys,
I mean,
Uranus.
Technically, the Uranus made sense, right? There's an argument to be made. Sorry. Okay, maybe not first pick prio, but it makes sense because there's an argument to be made that it still can be flexed. And I thought that's what they were trying to work with towards the second, point of the drafts. But then they picked up the YSS and
Immediately.
What's the plan here? What's the idea behind the Uranus first pick?
It's mixed signals.
I mean, I feel like maybe pivoting from the plan a little too early could have been a potential downfall, but it feels like, at least for Legion, this is comfort, right? Start with comfort and then start to figure out how to kind of manipulate the draft later down the line.
What about the Novaria?
I think that's, in effect, them adding layers. Again, that's what confuses me, is they're so honest, right? Like, all right, look at this. Oh, nope, we're going to do this. And then, okay, let's just make what we did better. No, I don't think the Novaria where it wasn't the right pick either.
Well, let's take a look at that game once again as we are getting into the highlights again. And there it is, right? The pressure from the Franco that we saw, it was allowing RinXK as well to get a little bit of a lead in the lane. That really helped him, I think, towards the mid, towards the late as well.
I mean, considering, I think the one thing that we can see very clearly from the side of the Mongols is that they have really great awareness, right? With the coverage of the way that they actually rotate across the map. It's not like, oh, we have 5 people in the depths, in the kill squad, we move together, we move in the same direction. No, they actually have a pretty spread out net, which is why we see RinXK able to pick up multiple turrets down by tier 1, top side initially, then bot, then mid, and then eventually start pushing into purple.
That was the beauty of it, right? I mean, we've been talking about the different matchups coming into the gold lane, and that's what the Bruno was built for. Because imagine if that was an Irithel. Like, I don't think it would have snowballed as well for the Mongols.
I think they had the intent. They had the intent to snowball so much faster. So they just said, Bruno, do it. Coach, give us the Bruno.
Coach, give us the Bruno, please.
Coach Booyah, do it.
I think that yes, maybe the Irithel wouldn't have snowballed as hard for the most part of it, right? Let's be real for a moment. With the meta kind of shifting the way that it is, I feel like at least with the Mongols, they have a better understanding of what potentially could fit the roles, right? They've got archetypes already set into place. That's more than enough. Just having a good idea.
Yep.
Just seeing the vision.
But even then, the vision seems to be muddied by your options, your setup. So this is definitely something to work on. This is something I hope that they let go going in the game too.
Did you guys see any issues with communication, maybe with the way that they were playing in terms of chemistry? I mean, with the new 2 imports coming through?
I think it was more the game that bothered them than each other. Mongols were just going too fast for us to see if there was any comms issues.
More so, I feel like the Mongols are pushing Legion just to the edge of the cliff, and the question is like, oh, is the gust of wind going to push them over, or do we have to back all the way to the walls to keep yourself alive?
There was no room for dialogue. Just holding on.
So how can we expect that kind of speed to be taken away from the Mongols in game number 2?
A better draft.
I think going over the red side, that's a start at least, right? Go to the second pick, see what the first pick from the Mongols is going to be, and then really start to elaborate. Because I feel like even with the meta, with the way the meta is right now, it hasn't been solved just yet. Second pick might just be more reliable because you can get that guarantee on R4.
And you can react. You can react. It's so much better to allow your opponent to be fast and say, all right, we need these kind of breaks, we need these kind of hard stops, so we can get our game plan going. I think that's the issue with them being in blue. That's what made this whole approach feel uncomfortable, which left no room for them to breathe.
Okay, so drafts, red side. Those are the 2 main things that we're looking at.
Those are the 2 mains. Those are the 2 main points for me if I was in Legion Esports' shoes.
All right. Let's see if they're going to be able to fix that. Let's see if they're going to listen, actually, because technically they can hear us.
They could.
Right behind us.
I think it'd be a detriment if they tried to listen because they're already working on,
Yeah, you know what? Just focus on the game. Just focus on your game, all right?
Are you talking to them?
Yes. Just focus on your game, guys. But it looks like we are going to head over to a break, so we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned and don't go anywhere. we're back for game number 2 in our featured match of the day here at the MSC Wildcards at EWC 2025. Match number 1 was done and dusted, and game number 1 was also taken very, very convincingly by the Mongols. Now the big question is, can the Mongols take this 2-0, or do Legion have a say about this to come back and maybe force a game number 3 in this best of 3 series?
Game 1 was such a dominant showing by the Mongols that I don't think the past 5 minutes have been enough.
I feel like the impression has been made, the message has been sent, and now the question is whether Legion Esports will reply.
Will they?
Could they?
Reply.
And if
How will they?
If we are in that case, do they reply with the right message of their own?
Well, here's the thing, right? We've seen teams kind of be a little inconsistent. I want to see whether Mongols is going to be part of that story, right? Are they going to be like, hey, we have a really great game number 1, game number 2, and then game number 3, we don't do as well. I think that a lot of it really boils down to their look on the meta, and more so their personality as the series goes on.
Flashbacks to match number 1, maybe?
Yeah, but just a little.
I think match number 1 was some fundamental lapses, right? Because it was clear what went wrong there. But here, game 1, it was just so one-sided that the mistakes that, if ever there were any, that Mongols committed, you could chalk up to just, we were speeding it up. We were just trying to get there before Legion could clap back. So I've yet to see anything from Legion. I'm hoping that this time, from Red, specifically from Red side, they show us something new.
Oh, yeah. I think I keep thinking back on like why the Uranus first pick. I mean, they needed to throw out a blind pick, if not a flex pick, and I don't think Uranus fits that build just yet.
Like first pick Granger would have been fine.
I think the first pick Granger would have been totally okay in that scenario. You could have just been. I mean, even just throwing in Gothot. Just hey, Gothot, what are you gonna do now?
Look at this first pick Gothot like it's Q1 2025.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
The meta continues to evolve, and I think at least for the wild cards, while everybody is giving us our first taste of what it's going to look like on a professional stage, well, I mean, not on a professional stage, but an international stage, it could shake things up.
Gonna be exciting to see, but it sounds like the drafts are done.
We expedited.
Wow, okay, so we're gonna go fast forward into the game, and I think,
Ka-chow.
boys, once again, this is your time to shine.
Indeed it is. Thank you, Rachel. Ladies and gentlemen, the good crowd watching, whether here live in the arena or at home, the good news is the match will begin very, very shortly. And by that, I mean the game. We're jumping into the game.
Yep, I hope so, because again, we've seen these teams play. They've given us our very first impression, and I mean, you can tell Eterna's just happy about it. It's just like, yeah, Mongols are looking real good about this. And I'm happy because to me, they're my favorites to actually make it out of the wild cards.
Hold up. That's a question we didn't ask, given how fast we ran through this highlight match of the day. What? So you said Mongols?
Mongols.
Why? Where did
Why are
that
you whispering it? Why are you whispering it?
Because I thought I threw it over to you guys. I didn't want to disrupt the pattern.
No,
I thought we
you're
were going in game.
you're still here.
Okay, I'm still here.
So
I'm here.
Mongols?
I'm Eterna.
You're also Mongols?
Mongols.
Okay, there's a special place in my heart for Legion, right?
What?
I've been following these guys for a while now, having...
Is it because of the imports?
No, not even because of the imports. Like, I'm a big fan of Joga. He's a hugger, right? I just
True.
like these guys because of who they are and what they represent coming out of Mekong, but not that they have their own little league like VMC. They are representing much more than that. They are on an island of their own. So now, for real, thank you so much, Rachel. We will see you in just a bit. Let's go into the draft here, folks.
All right.
What is a game without a draft, right?
Of course, of course. I mean, this is the fundamental of all MOBAs. The battlefield isn't even the first place where they start a war. It's right from the draft.
This is the chessboard.
This is the chessboard that we've been waiting for. The question is, what are the pieces? Because once again, we're seeing that LG wants to be on the blue side. This is an active choice.
They decided to stay here, and Coach Sabo definitely has his plate full. Looking to take out the Phobius, the Zushin, while Mongols ban out the 1-1 and the Baksha. Okay, so Mongols have no incentive to switch it up.
Nope, none
Literally,
at all.
they can just ride the momentum of game 1.
I mean, the bans are exactly the same. I want to see whether that first pick is going to change coming in from LG, right? I think that's the big thing. I'm looking towards Coach Sabo. He needs to set up that trap, right? To look for that big sabotage against the Mongols if they want to find any space within this game. Because the last time that these two teams met was last year, M6's wildcards, where they dropped it 2-1 against the Mongols. Upsetting, of course, but they still have that fire. They still remain remember that loss.
No good deed goes unpunished. As LG, Legion Esports, ban out the Matilda, last ban for the first phase, while MongolZ, they still have a good amount of picks here. Kalia still open, given that the Baksha's out.
I think they were banning it here on third, right? If it's the exact same drafting pattern.
They have to, yes. Or they address heroes like Farsa, Zetian.
That only came towards the second half of the draft. If I'm just taking, based off of pattern recognition.
Unless there's something that they have to address now, given the order, given the decision for Legion to stay blue. Because again, this has to be unnerving in its own right. Yeah, just say, did you not just lose from that side? Don't you want to? No. Okay.
What if MongolZ, their egos get the better of them? They ban out the Uranus. Now what?
Now, I don't think that's a play. That's
They're
not a play.
Forcing LG to be better. It's like, nah, we need something more out of your first pick.
It's not a play. Here we go. One more for Coach Buyo. Exhausting all of the options. While Coach Sabo listing out, all right, these are what's left. These are my choices. Again, I don't think this should be a first pick Uranus anymore.
No, it definitely shouldn't. We're already down to the count here of what exactly is going to be that final ban. If not, I really hope that they didn't miss it out and that this is just a graphical thing. So far, I mean, the Matilda definitely kind of gives an idea of what LG want to do. It's like, oh, if you want to play those big tanks again, guess what? You're not going to have the extra mobility for your big beefy boys.
All right, it looks like we have to catch up and recalibrate to have our draft updated. So yeah, no, we're pending one red side ban, and then following through with a blue side pick, the opener, which have a lot of options. The Kalia pending, I think Kalia would be fine. Yusun Shin, if you really just want to have Joga make up for what happened in game one.
Kimmy as well, huge problem.
Kimmy Granger.
All of which are really, really good.
Badang first pick, like,
I think that the Badang first pick is kind of interesting, but I do, since it's day number one, right? I mean, all teams here in the wildcard are playing under the GSL system, which means you lose twice, you're out of the tournament, right? So technically, you can kind of be a little spicy with your first life, right?
You still have another.
Yeah. You just tap dance a little bit, feel the rhythm of how these drafts are going to go, and show some ego, right? Show a little bit of personality.
Yeah, the game one definitely had a lot of personality with that first pick, Uranus. So, folks, real quick, we are waiting for the draft to resume. So with that said, we are going to be covering all of the bases. Let's discuss what might come out. Still left in the open, jungle picks. Fovi's got banned.
Fovi's got banned.
That's clear, which I think now gives a little bit more of a premium to the XP in the first phase.
But here's the thing. I feel like even in the meta, as we've seen the patch actually come on through, the meta is allowing a lot of different EXP laners to actually come into play, right? We even saw like Arla initially being banned out in our very first series of the day. Badang as well. Ruby, arguably one of the most sustainable EXP laners that are out there. Lapu doing a really good job.
Yuzhong just in game one here.
Exactly. So it begs the question where the priority comes down for LG. Because you can't have 3 winning lanes. If not, why would even have in the draft in the first place, right? You got to decide who's going to be the main guy who's going to get his comfort pick and a winning lane, while everything else is going to be simplified around it.
So how do they set that up?
Start with the gold.
It would have been, yes, by committing to the gold. But yeah, if you're Legion, again, it was so much easier to do it from red. Because you see things coming. Like, you're able to wrap it around in the first 3 for red, protect it from the bans, and then do much better. But it seems like Coach Sabo has a agenda of his own. That's why he's decided to stay blue. There it is, confirmed. MongolZ ban out the Kalia. There's no way that was going to come through for free with the Baksha out of the equation. First pick for Coach Sabo. One more. It's still the Uranus. Oh, my Lord.
0% win rate. Keep in mind, this is only going to accumulate throughout the tournament here. Not just wildcards, but bleeding into MSC.
It seems like the Esmeralda, the Dairoth, is not his number one rival. It's himself.
Look, it's a blind pick of all blind picks. It's kind of like, if there wasn't, if Farmus is banned out, I just pick the glue, right? You pick the CC, sure, kind of whatever. I'm just gonna sandbag the lane as hard as I possibly can. LG don't mind this. We go over to the MongolZ. Do they change the plan? Are they like, are you disrespecting us with this first pick again? We got the Yuzhong last time. We could just ego challenge you, lock in the Dairoth, lock in arguably even an X-Bark as well. I would say the Dairoth's just a little bit better in these cases, especially in the laning phase.
But by picking the Dairoth here, you're losing out on so much. So the Mongols, how's this for an ego check? They pick a Yushin of their own, and then another breakout XP laner in the Lapu Lapu.
This is really interesting because here's the thing. In the laning phase, as much as you expect Uranus to be that sandbag, Lapu Lapu actually has some pretty decent wave play. Like, he's not going to be too far behind the Uranus, even if he does look for the big proxy.
And in team fights, don't get me started. I'm more afraid of the Lapu Lapu than the Uranus. I kind of know what the Uranus wants to do, but the Lapu Lapu, especially when I know his flicker is off, that's definitely a game changer.
It is. But keep in mind the Mongols are also taking the Yishun Shin, which is why I feel like Mongols are like, all right, they're taking a step forward in the sandbox, telling the other kids, hey, this is my territory. Don't walk in. Don't get in here. Not without my permission.
No. Legion locks in the Farsa and the Moskov, so they got damage coverage down pat. They're allowing for Joga to cover up the bases and whatever they're missing in the second phase. Now let's go into the bans. Oh, one more pick for Mongols. Again, I'm so convinced that the Mongols are safe in their draft as is, but they have one more pick here. I'd say one of the gold laners. You know there's a Moskov on the other side.
You know that there's a Moskov on the other side. You can look to get a mid laner of your own. Zitian has been a potential option for them, especially when you're looking for, like, I mean, having double vision is just so nice. It's something about just feeling that safety and security, but instead, they're going to be locking in the Badang. I love this. A way to kind of stop the feathered airstrike, a way to find those big engages.
And I think this is Mongol's way of saying there's no way that you ban out all the marksmen. There's no way. You're wasting too much bans if you want to take out the Kimmy, the Granger, the Bruno. Literally too many marksmen.
Way too many. Way too many.
Like, there's way too many.
And even if they don't decide to go for just marksman bans, right? I mean, even if they take out the top tier marksmen, there's still easy fallbacks. You can even play Claude into these types of situations, right? The Trinity build works really, really well against big beefy tanks. And not to mention, hey, try and feather airstrike this when I'm on top of you with the BMI.
Point blank pressing feather airstrike is a little awkward. Yeah, especially when there's like Yusin Shin at large.
Hey, let's not forget Lapu Lapu. He's going to be right in front of that feather airstrike.
That's true. So maybe they don't go that way. And indeed they don't. Look at this. Coach Puyo bans out the Angela. No heart guard shenanigans up in here, while Sabo bans out the Zetian. So they're attacking mid lane instead. So should this be maybe ban out the Kimmy?
Maybe ban out the Kimmy. I think Kimmy is a pretty decent ban overall.
The last ban for Legion.
Okay. What? All right, Esme banned here.
They don't trust that the Uranus is going where they think it is.
I thought initially it was like, oh, maybe this is an ego, but maybe some part of them is like, okay, just in case. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
See these two bans right here? These are like, make sure that goes into the XP lane, all right? Like, that is the message Coach Puyo is sending. Now Coach Sabo got one more. Another mid laner?
I don't think there's any other decent mid laners other than probably the Kimmy at this point. But Kimmy doesn't feel very good in the composition from the first three picks that we see here from the Mongols anyways, right? They've got EXP already unlocked. They've got support already unlocked. They've already got their jungle. It's not like you're going to have like a gold lane tank of some sort. That'd be a little crazy.
We really don't see that. The closest kind of hero that we have like that is the Ruby.
And even then,
you're pushing it. So there's the Harith. Wow. Even into the weeks leading up to the wild card, ladies and gentlemen, Harith has already seen a steep drop, a sharp falling out of the current metagame out of favor. But it makes sense. He's one of the few magic gold laners that might be needed in Mongo's lineup to make up for all of this physical damage. So good read here by Coach Sabo. But what does Mongols pick here? A mid laner or a gold laner first?
I'm curious to see, because Legion, they're following a very simple formula. What is your damage profile? Mainly it's attack damage. Let's get rid of the one magic damage gold laner, but there is still one more available in the Natam. Instead, we do see the Valentina actually getting picked up by the Mongols. I love this a lot. You get access to the feathered airstrike, and more importantly, depending on what is going to be thrown into the EXP lane, if not the jungle, it's going to kind of skew LG to kind of be like, let's not give them some good ults.
And not to mention the roam. There's still no roamer for Legion, so even that has to be very specifically something that they wouldn't be so upset giving over to that Valentina in the hands of Mikey.
Is this is this an Enchanter support opener? I'm a little nervous about this because there's two ways they can go. They can either go for big set tanks, right? And then, take the Purifies for yourself knowing that your opponent is going to steal it away. Or do you just not interact? You play things like Rafaela, things that kind of help with the rotations instead. No.
It's more old school than we expected.
It's more old school. Big kicks, Way of the Dragon, electrifying beats in play.
This is a Joga special right here, the Joy. Only maybe second to his Hayabusa and his Fanny, if you know. This is great for LG. Again, it's classic MLBB. You just win fights, you out-mechanic your opponent, and speak of the devil, there's the Fanny! Well, Zetsu's getting his hands on the Fanny!
Look, this last pick to turn things around on red side is why we love MLBB. We're going to see a Yi Shunshin go into the gold lane. I don't know about you, but there's only one time I've ever seen this actually happen, and it didn't work out, and that happened in MPL MY.
Yeah, this was one of those, can you believe it? This so-and-so happened in MPL MY.
Exactly. It's just, I don't know whether this is the right call to make, but there's a lot of faith in their jungler by saying, hey, I don't want the Yishin, give me the Fanny, I will make the plays.
And there is an alarming lack of magic damage for MongolZ. But hey, if you win fast and you farm up on that Yisun Shin, the Fanny goes unhindered, we could be looking at a quick sweep. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what happens here. Match point for the MongolZ, game number 2. Huge chip on the shoulders of Legion Esports, the pride of Vietnam repping the VMC. Can they turn this around after this solid left swerve? Who'd have thunk?
Yeah, who would have thunk? Honestly, I'm pretty surprised as well. Meow, he's going to get an early proxy. We do see that Zetsu does start on the top side of the map to take over his orange buff. He does use an early retribution to kind of speed it up. It looks like he may have taken a little more time than he probably should have, as Cram God is going to quickly try and hold this purple buff hostage here. Now, based on what we've seen so far, the laners play a really big part in the earlier stages of the game between these two teams.
Yep, again, huge question mark on the gold lane Yisun Shin. We've seen a jungle Yisun Shin work earlier today, but this is the first of its kind. Again, check out how he's rocking it. RinXK rocking the Thrill, the Master Assassin, and oh wait, quick action in mid. Shenlong very low.
He needs to be able to kind of absorb the damage, right? If not, Makey is going to take trades that he honestly won't be able to keep up against someone like Farsa. Again, right, it's lethal ignition Farsa this time around. It's not impure rage. It's not about poking. It's about how much damage can I apply to you to force you to recall as soon as possible. I do think that it's interesting. Zetsu, not opting to go for the big burst, decides to actually go for the war cry instead of lethal ignition.
We don't see this very often, but this means that he's expecting to relatively go unhindered. Because again, there's only really two ways Legion can stop him. The kick from Cram, the many in Cho's kit, but also Daylight Spear Misery. Like, those are the only ways. So I get why it's a war. I get why he wants to get these basic hits in. So there's like early, pop by Shocker, cancel just as quickly. Mike didn't steal anything yet.
I think that Legion Esports right now control the tempo against the MongolZ, right? The MongolZ will need to hit level 4 before they can actually really think about even contesting it. Better yet, Zetsu needs to make sure he's level 5. Oh. Damage is good. Mumu is committing pretty heavy here. Wow, he's really going for it. Try 2v1 with backline. Gets attacked. Shenlong ends up going down. Didn't really expect the fight to go this way. Mumu forced the flicker as well. Just losing situations after losing situations for the MongolZ.
All right. A life and a flicker for 2 flickers. Legion Esports winning the resource battle. So far, Zetsu working in the small cap. Can he make it?
He's going to try. He's going to make the attempt here. Feather airstrike back off a cooldown. Makey gets blasted down. The Shocker finds him out of nowhere.
Joga, clean as it can get. Like, he knew that there was a fight waiting to happen, but he did not allow for that to hinder his retribution. Clean take there. Now up by almost 1,000 gold. Legion Esports are back.
I'm really confused, right? With the way that the MongolZ played the initial dance and then afterwards looking to re-engage after losing their battle spells, it really is kind of feels like MongolZ are kind of letting loose of the reins, right? They're like, after game number 1, it's just all disrespect.
I'd like to think it's less disrespect and more just sloppy execution because they want to speed things up. They just want to get to a certain point and force it, but Not when you're playing with Legion Esports' signature picks. Shocker underneath. Oh!
Finds the dive perfectly. Oh no, he almost didn't trade back. Oh, lucky for Legion Esports, they pull it back.
Consequences.
Consequences.
You force certain things and you don't think of the follow-through. That happens. I don't know. That's not worth it. In my book, that's not worth it.
It really isn't worth it, to be fair. But at the end of the day, it does alleviate a little bit of pressure from Makey, right? He's not thinking about trading against the Farsa now. Ooh, that blowing one is gonna cost him a little bit, especially for this upcoming turtle fight in the next 40 seconds or so. Especially since we do have a Brave Smite user on the opposite end.
It's a little too optimistic for my taste to say that. Hey, look, the jungler died to kill the other mid laner, so that our mid laner can catch up.
Hey man, they told us to put a positive spin on it, right? It's wild cards here. You gotta give
all
smiles. All smiles.
All smiles.
We gotta give them that window, right? That window that somebody could make that mistake, and it happens to the best of us, right? Whether in ranked games or even at the highest possible level.
I'll go as far as it's not over till it's over. But if something doesn't add up, something doesn't add up. The Mongols are down about 1,000 gold. Zetsu is working hard to make up for that bad trade. He's working hard to just, all right, I gotta farm up. I'm down on EXP. That's one full level that I can't steal a turtle with. So I'm gonna take this slow. But I don't know, the Mongols don't seem to play well when they play slow.
I feel like with the composition that they have, they got to be a little bit more flexible, right, to find and spot these opportunities. Legion Esports has been keeping it pretty tight together. Okay, good fish crack here into Meow. Terrify as well, forcing out the Feather Airstrike, and here comes Mumu right into the back line. They're looking for Shocker straight away. Cram God with third hit of the G Kundo is going to disengage the squad. The Bravest Fighter is still out. They're holding it. Joga looking to try and be deceptive into that back line. They have to pull back. Stolen Feathered Airstrike of their own. As now the kick comes from Cram God. He finds it on top of Mumu, and it's too late. Makey seals away the turtle. They make it out. Joga didn't even use the electrifying beats in the entirety of that fight.
He did try to get the retry on the turtle, trying to steal it away, given his full level advantage, but it just wasn't enough.
Whoa!
If anything's Makey who steals it, Cram got very low.
He makes the attempt as Mumu does flicker forward, but unfortunately Daylight saves the day, able to collapse on him, push him against that wall. That could have been disastrous. That was a triple kill about to happen.
The Mongols holding on. Shenlin with the forward flicker, full combo, does not actually spend the fist crack. There was no follow-through. Again, holding it back. The Mongols, I'm convinced that they only know one speed, Gideon. Just fast.
I mean, they've got the clutch gene in them, but the unfortunate part is that there's just enough gears. Not enough gears. Now the kick is already through. Renixie, he's in a lot of trouble here. Meow, he gets on in, but Daylight already makes the play, finds one, but doesn't get the second. Not as effective as they thought it was going to be. A 2-for-1 trade in favor of the Mongols.
And it's because Legion Esports decided to take things at their speed. They decided to say, oh yeah, you want to brawl? Let's brawl. Oh, we're not ready. Daylight should not have attempted. Daylight should not have tried. Instead, he jumped into a pit full of the Mongols heroes, and that allows for them to catch up. Again, they're still down about 1,000 and change. Don't get us wrong, but the Mongols are far from out of the woods. They're still losing on lane. Not a single turret they've pushed. Not a single, they scored one turtle, the one that was stolen away by Mikey in the commotion.
Whoa.
But Shenlin can play this a little cleaner. Is that Rinnex building a...
Endless battle?
Endless battle?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe Daylight started respecting him.
I'm interested to see what his entire build is. That can't just be his first item, right? He probably went for something else. He probably like a Hunter Strike. Maybe he's got something in built in. It does. He opts to switch. He doesn't even want to go for T2 boots. Now we do see the Feather Airstrike already coming out from the Shocker, and that's going to be a big green light for the Mongols to start getting a little bit of pressure across the map. Top side going to get cleared up. Mid side getting held really nicely, and they still have vision over the turtle.
Now you mention it, I think the map is the one avenue they can actually win, because they have the global presence, they have the mobility. Nice kick by Crab!
He finds it nicely. Shenlin in trouble. He's going to lock down two with the help of the fist crack into the fist break. Makey, however, may not be as lucky. Joga does end up finding Makey. Mumu takes out Daylight in the process. Zetsu's trying to get on out. Meow, unkillable, untouchable, with a second feathered airstrike coming in from Shocker to ensure that Legion Esports takes the turtle.
Cram God in pursuit. RinXK knows that he's out of his breath here. Way too deep. Goes back to his wave, and look at this. Whoa, they're chasing Zetsu.
Yep.
Denying him the purple.
Oh, is he gonna? Oh, unfortunately, Unfortunately, Zetsu did not want to use his retribution. He didn't know whether Joga still had it. Now Rinixk, he's in. He wants to get the good damage on toward Cramgod. However, Cramgod kicks Rinixk. Mumu still is able to finish them both off Joga, and then Cramgod immediately after. The Mongols reply with a hefty left hand.
2 free kills for the Mongols, and we're seeing them convert the old-fashioned way. We get the objective where we got the kills, and fortunately for Legion Esports, there was no one there. Zetsu, look at him steal away the purple, instead gets taken down by Daylight, a rogue. SOD.
What a play. Daylight. He's trying to get his name back on the top tier level of gold laners here. After game number 1 getting demolished by Rinixk and full rotations from the Mongols, this time the individual makes the difference.
So far, their first turret push, the Mongols down bottom. It's difficult. There's a term we use in MLBB that's called dirty macro. For the Mongols, I hate to say, but we're only seeing dirty fighting. The macro isn't as evident just yet.
Dude, this is like boxing. This is like dirty boxing even, right? You got to slip in, just, hey, the ref's not looking, slip in that elbow real quick. And now Mumu is getting right on top of Meow. He's pretty unkillable here. I don't think anybody can really deal with him other than Rinixk. And even then, he probably still needs a War Axe to guarantee it. Or, honestly, some anti-heal to ensure that he doesn't sustain through the damage. Now, Rinixk does get a tier 1 up on that top side. Legion Esports, they know that that purple buff is coming back up. Look at them. They're right on top of it. And Mumu, they haven't opened up the map just yet. They can't engage on it with Joga 2 levels ahead of this Fanny.
Hard denial. But I understand, though. How could you play macro if key points of your map are getting attacked with surgical precision? Very specifically denying your jungler anything and everything that's necessary. Oh, Cramgod finds a kick!
And the Feather Airstrike is already in. The Spear has come up through. Unfortunately, Daylight has to use that Purify to keep himself alive. Rinixk in that 1v1 is dangerous, and now they're going to move and turn their sights onto Meow. Again, just not worth their time. Mumu, does he have his ult? He does have the Bravest Fighter available, as Cramgod is looking for an angle as he opens up the bottom side of the Tri-Brush. Shenlin, oh, he even flickers forward, and just doesn't connect. He flickers right over him. Daylight chunked down to 1 HP as both sides are wrestling for control over the Lord. Shenlin ends up dying. Bravest Fighter into the flicker. Mumu tries to stun but doesn't secure the kill. Unfortunately, that means that the way of the dragon into the Feathered Airstrike is going to make it easy pickings for the Legion. Mongols now too many members down, can't even look to steal this Luminous Lord.
To their detriment, the Mongols only know one speed, and that is fast. We've said it multiple times, even when they were down 2 members, 3 members, they were still looking for fights. Zetsu was clearing waves. Zetsu was playing with the fact that he might try to steal away the Lord, but here we are. 4,000 gold, approaching 5,000 ahead. Legion Esports are taking turrets, making the most of this Lord before it even spawns. And Meow is here opening up this steal once more, denying Zetsu the purple. Mongols really have to step on the brakes.
I hope they do. I hope they take a breather. The mid-tier 1, the most important structure on the map, finally collapses in a genius wand purchase for Shocker. Surprisingly enough, they are ahead. I didn't think they were that far ahead. A 5K lead, turning into a 4K lead, and this is even before the Lord has collapsed onto structures.
Yeah, so for Legion, I get why they want to go fast. I get how they're taking advantage of their wins and riding that wave. The Mongols, though, this might be a very unique approach. This might be them, you know, bouncing or falling on the back of their heels and then rolling with the punches, but there's only so many punches you can take, especially with a lineup that has a Fanny and Yi Sun-shin that needs that setup.
I mean, their eyes are getting swollen here, right? They're losing sight of what they need to do. Oh, Shenlin getting put down to 50% HP thanks to that passive coming in from Daylight, chunking him down. If they get an inhibitor here for the side of Legion Esports, that's already a huge win as the outer turrets continue to fall. Only inhibitors are left. Zetsu must respect it, but Daylight, he doesn't care. He's got the winds of nature to keep him alive. Beats him out of that 1v1.
Even against the gold laners, Zetsu couldn't win. What more when Shocker finds it? What more? Even the Farsa seems to be untouchable now, given the space that the rest of Legion Esports have put between them and Zetsu. Oh, the pick by Cramgod!
It's right on top of Rinixk, and Shocker doesn't miss! A Feather Airstrike and a counter Feather Airstrike, but out of position. Daylight finds Mumu too! They don't lose anything off of this. They still protect their structures. They should be moving to that bot side to break it open because Shenlin and as well as Meiki just don't have the damage, don't have the range to actually get in on these fights. No big conversions, but 3 huge kills for Legion Esports.
Miraculously, these inhibitors are still standing. Joga maybe crossed over a little too fast. Down goes that turret in mid. Wide open, the base of the Mongols are. Bottom up next. It's just a matter of time. Legion Esports.
Uh-oh.
They're not taking these fights well.
They really aren't.
They're saying, you know what? We're just going for the turrets. We don't care.
I mean, there's no need for them to care anymore, right? They're coming towards... Oh, wow. Okay, we'll get into the damage rankings, but they're coming towards the later stages of the game. They've scaled up. Daylight already getting his final situational items as well. Look at that damage. Momo is actually putting out a ton of damage. We haven't seen enough from Zetsu or even RinXK. Momo is compensating them.
Yep, Momo is dealing damage on an AoE basis. When he hits the bravest fighter, he wants to hit as many dudes because that's how his second skill works now. It depends on how many people are hit. That's the amount of damage reduction he gets. And it just snowballs out of control. That's why he specifically uses his flicker whenever it's off of cooldown. So we're waiting 40 seconds, but the Lord is already standing. The Mongols need to buy time. I'm not even going to tell him to slow down anymore, but at least step on the gas when it matters. Zetsu trying to find Joga. He knows he can't win that fight.
No, he is nowhere close to winning that fight, especially since Joga has fully scaled. We know the changes to the Starlium side, but when you already have that Holy Crystal, it feels like good old late game joy. They gotta breathe here for a moment. Just a moment, right? The Mongols need to understand that Legion Esports is still giving a decent amount of respect even when they're around this Lord Pit.
And this is where it feels uncanny. This is where it feels like, is this really the Mongols you're looking at? Because, oh my God, Clan after the conceal gets a kick.
Yep, and they even get the ult as well. They committed 3 ults just for one guy, and Meow, losing out on his flicker, still survives the fight, walks away. 4 battle spells out from the side of the Mongols to make this happen.
And all they get out of the trade is Joga. They denied the Lord. Yes, they delayed it. But Legion Esports are still miles ahead. 7,000 between these two teams. I don't think it's worth it. Sure, they will take a little while longer, but wait, where's the punish?
They're trying to punish it as hard as possible. Mumu is already on top of them. They do see that Zetsu is in play. Juan is already out. Mumu ends up dying still. We have a 3-man fist crack into fist break, but it doesn't matter at all. Wait, can he make it in time? Is there enough damage? Zetsu, he's got the retribution. He wants the double check it. He goes right in, he sees it, but it gets kicked instead. The steal, incomplete. Daylight shuts him down.
The methodical slowing down of the Lord take. Literally, Legion Esports stop attacking the Lord just so they can bait Zetsu into the pit and give him a piece of their mind. Now Legion Esports are going for the jugular, going for the finish. Here's an instant replay, a quick peek into what exactly happened here. Good effort, right, with the fist crack combo, and then good effort on the steal, but they just let go of the Lord. It's like, let him in, just let him in.
I feel like Legion Esports, this is just years of salt, right, of the Mongols beating them, and now they're going to have their way. They're looking straight for the base, as now they're trying to push it away. Unfortunately, for Makey is the first to fall, but that base just doesn't have enough health to stay alive. It's 1-1 between the two rivals.
Not so fast as Legion Esports takes us to game number 3. This is not the Mongols we saw in game 1.
No, this is not. And I think that Legion Esports also understood the assignment. It's like, all right, guys, we can have a little bit of fun with this.
Legion, they played the draft the same way almost as game 1, right?
Almost.
But they answered a lot of hanging questions. And they addressed a lot of in-game pain points. Mongols, on the other hand,
Come on.
They seem to only know how to solve problems in a specific way. They just have, okay, we will brute force this. We will force certain things. If we don't, then we'll try again.
My logic to this is that the Mongols got a little disrespectful. Come on, you have to admit it. You have to admit they got a little disrespectful. They're like, okay, game number 1 was a wash. It was a little too easy. Like, we can do whatever we want. And Legion was like, all right. Be disrespectful. I'll show you. I'm going to cut you bit by bit.
I would rather feign ignorance than full-on disrespect. But with that said, let's watch the highlights once more. A real quick look at the match. It looked like there was some give, right? It looked like Mongols could have done some stuff, but
it's just not enough, right?
Like, is it just where they didn't address what needed to be addressed before it was too late?
I feel that they get a little light-footed, right? They kind of overreacted sometimes, you may even say, to the Shocker. It's very clear that they wanted to shut down Shocker as soon as possible. Every single time you see that feathered airstrike, especially as we go later into the game, those battle spells are such a valuable resource. However, it's always used defensively, right? Mumu and as well as Shenlin are always kind of engaging together. That's why you look at those cooldowns, they're very similar every single time.
And the Bandang really didn't get to set up much, because at best, what you're doing is setting up for RinXK, right? You want RinXK to get his passive procs in. You want Mikey's stolen ult to get a few blasts in before you finish the job. But that really didn't happen. Zetsu was carrying his weight plus more. And then you doubled that to double the pressure because he wasn't getting his purple anyways, like in the later half of the game.
I would say that would be the clearer storyline for Mumu, because again, in all of these fights, Zetsu was trying to kind of find his angles to get in and out of it. Mumu needs to force his way in through the door, fist through door, unlock it, and walk into the room. And even then, doesn't find the treasure.
Here comes Mumu.
Here comes Mumu,
if
baby.
You know, you know. That's what they tried to do, but sadly, no dice. It's game 3 all over again.
Look, I think that before we get Eterna into, she'll join us until later. We need to kind of set the stage, because I want to know her opinion about this. Do you think that the Mongols were being a little disrespectful after game number 1
in play?
Yeah,
I would kind of say so, especially looking at the drafts, right? I mean, I gotta say that the Fanny was a little bit forced. Like, I don't know why they flexed the YSS. Did you guys get to talk about that?
No, it happened too fast. Again,
it was final pick.
I'd like to think that was just because Fanny's always strong, right? So if Fanny's open and there's only 1 or 2 ways your opponent can stop Fanny, I don't blame him for that.
But remember, they picked up the Fanny into the Moskov and the Cho.
Exactly.
Again, those are the two. They said they pulled the 50-50. They said, they're gonna get me or not, and they did.
I don't know. I feel like they're putting their fingers in mouth traps, and it's like, it's not gonna trigger, right?
Exactly.
It's not gonna trigger, right?
Yeah.
I think it would be okay if the YSS actually had a good win rate in the gold lane. But like we saw in that game that the YSS in the gold lane didn't really work out too well
Uranus
for them.
first win, y'all.
Hey! Okay, I do want to touch on that, right? Because I think that in terms of lane dominance between the Moskov and as well as the Yishin Shin, every single time that we do see the Mountain Shocker actually happen, we do notice that the Moskov ended up recalling afterwards before looking to try and participate in the fights, or any neutral objectives even.
Yeah, because I think half of the trick is gone when you Mountain Shocker and you know where the Moskov is coming from.
Yeah.
So half the trick is gone. I get why Daylight responded that way. So yeah, no, Eterna's right. Like, if there was a precedent or if there was a reason exactly why you were going to flex this way, then maybe. But yeah, no. The Yushin was working in the jungle. Like, let him play the jungle.
Could this have been an afterthought? They locked the Yishin Shin in, and they're like, wait a minute. This whole time, Fanny was like, what are we doing, guys? Why are we wasting our time with this Yishin Shin nonsense? Let's throw him in the gold lane.
Coach was like, yeah, no, but there's a Cho and a...
It's fine. It's fine.
Zetsu, you're good enough, right? And Zetsu's like, yes, give it to me.
Give me that comedic jump cut. Guys, help. It's hard.
Because we saw on multiple occasions the Fanny goes into the team fights, and then he gets either caught in by the spear from the Moskov, or he gets jumped on by the Cho. So it wasn't Zetsu's fault per se. It was a very difficult competition to play the Fanny into. And that's kind of what got Legion really rolling in that second game.
Apologies are going to be thrown in the back rooms for sure. It's like, I'm sorry.
It's a long conversation.
It's a very. I mean, it's two different varying opinions. It's just like, I'm sorry, my Fanny could have been better. The coach is like, I'm sorry for throwing you into the bear trap. Like, you were fast, but not fast enough. I'm sorry, dude.
I'm sorry for allowing this.
Exactly. It's a long conversation to be had, for sure.
So I'm wondering whether or not, the Mongols want to experiment once again with the drafts, or are they going to stick to, what worked for them in game number 1?
To be honest,
excited.
even game number 1 was very unorthodox. Even game number 1 very specific to them. It wasn't traditional peel.
Kimmy, Bruno, Franco, Yuzong.
Yeah, it wasn't traditional peel. It was proactive peel. They were hunting people down to feed to their marksmen.
Look, everything is going forward, guys. And I think that the most important thing is to, like Mongols in game number 1, answer the problems as soon as they come out, right? Just be straightforward with it. There's no need to try to outthink the outthinkers.
Yep, drop in, gear up.
So let's see the adaptations after this short break, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to cut straight into it. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere because you guys are watching the MSC Wildcards before we get into game number 3.
I stepped into a realm of wonders where the sun kisses the sea. Two worlds inspired by each other. Two worlds making one. This land is calling, Saudi Red Sea. Ladies and gentlemen, at the MSC Wildcards here at EWC 2025, 1-1 between Legion as well as the Mongols. As it looks like Legion don't want to go down without a fight. You guys are now watching the English broadcast once again with me, Eterna, as your desk host, and here on the desk we have Leo as well as Gdayon. Mr.
I'm pretty sure that's not how you say it.
No, that's not how people say it. That's not how people say it, unfortunately.
Oh, it's not?
She's people.
She's
I don't think I am.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. With that being said, though, it's 1-1. We're getting full series here in Wildcards already.
100%.
100%. I feel like
Group A.
it is Group A, to be fair. I do agree that they are the arguably stronger group between the two. But at the same time, I feel like they're taking those two lives for granted. They're like, let's play a little with it.
They're not satisfied with just being the strongest group. They also want to be the most entertaining. So, why not just go for the back and forth, go for these choice decisions. I don't want to call them mistakes, but they're like choice decisions to make the group even spicier, to make the opening of the wild card be this much of a banger.
Because technically, I mean, coming into the wild cards, a lot of these teams come from the qualifiers, so they're used to their meta in their own region, perhaps. And of course, there have been changes towards the meta game on an international level. So I think a lot of these teams are also kind of trying to adapt to one another from across all these regions.
Trying to see what they can get away with.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know about that, because I've been hearing that a lot of these teams have actually been going outstation from their home countries to actually boot camp within Southeast Asia to get the best quality of scrims possible, right? And to see that this could potentially be the result of that is a little disappointing to a certain degree.
These two did not boot camp, did they?
MongolZ did.
Oh, MongolZ did. Where?
Yep, in Malaysia, in a matter of fact. Which probably explains why we saw Yishu Chit in the gold lane.
But it sounds like the drafts are ready. We're getting the call from a Zipper right now. So, boys and girls, prepare, because we're getting into the drafts for game number 3 between these two teams. How will it go down? Only time will tell. Boys, you ready?
We are. Thank you so much, Eterna.
There's no other way to be.
Yep.
Here we go. Legion Esports.
What?
This time on the red.
That means Mongols have decided, you know what? We like that red side. We messed up, all right? You guys messed up. We messed up. Now it's the real game. This is for at least one life within this tournament here, and it's much better to be walking away with both of them rather than just one.
I'd like to look at it as one more game, one more match to win to confirm our second stage elimination. Like, that's the way to go, because after that, it's a couple more wins to the finals of the wild card. There goes the Uranus again. Legion seems to put so much stock on the Uranus.
Hold on. We're used to seeing blue side always being on the left-hand side, but I'm noticing that Coach Boyo is going to be blue and Coach Sabo is on the red. So that means that Mongols will be on the blue side.
Exactly.
On the right. Okay, yes. I'm sorry. I'm just too used to the
orientation.
It's a
switch up. It's a full-on switch-up, yes. From game 1 and 2, Legion has always been blue. But now, for the first time, they are red.
But it doesn't change the fact that why is there so much priority on this Uranus?
Between the both of them, it's clear that Legion knows how to harness and the true strength of Uranus. So they take that out alongside a 1-1. Mongols bound out the Kalia, the Fredrin, and of course the Moskov, which was what was responsible mainly for ruining their chances in game 2. One more ban for Legion before we go into picks.
All right, we see that the Moskov gets banned out here. The Fredrin alongside with the Kalia. A bit of a change up here because now Mongols realizing, hey, wait a minute, Daylight got a little too much done with this Moskov, and it also takes away from Zetsu's potential in playing these assassins, right? So making sure that those angles are still open is always going to be nice. Final ban in the first phase coming in from Legion Esports. Let's see what it's going to be because, again, Uranus, the 1-1, what else is still on the table that they care about?
Farsa was a big ticket pick earlier. You got the likes of Baksha. Open, there it is. It got taken out.
I thought it was going to sneak through. I was hoping it would sneak through.
Some of the priorities changed, actually. We usually see the Baksha and the Kalia banned by the same team in the series, but this time they had to split that responsibility. Now the Mongols, how do they open up the draft? You open up with a Badang. You open up with a Ranger.
I'm surprised that more teams. Well, I mean, they could go for a Hayabusa if they wanted to. They could pick up the Fan if they wanted to as well. But the same problems are still going to arise. You first pick these heroes, and instant response is coming up for the side of LG. And I think the scariest part was how much value Cram God was able to get out of Cho. And I think that's something that at least the Mongols need to consider within the first phase of the game.
Yep, that was a Cho debut and a Cho win almost instantly. 100% now on that. And here we go for the first time as well. Arlok shows up. What are the Mongols thinking here? There's a hero that can keep up with their pace.
I think, considering how Mumu was playing the Lapu Lapu, I wouldn't be too surprised if he wants to be the big setter for the team.
Yes, but just the same, Legion have the Phoveus open.
Also true.
Arlok Phoveus matchup, I don't like it so much for the former. So maybe lock it in, give it to Meow.
I think it's totally okay, unless they're using this as a flex pick, right? Unless they're thinking maybe Arla, because of his revamp, can go back into the roam, which is, again, highly dangerous. It's either it does super well in terms of snowballing and setting up for your team, or you kind of get caught out and you always have to sacrifice yourself.
Ooh, neither seems to be the case because Legion are playing a game of their own. How about double global, they say? Zertian and Yisun Shin.
Interesting. With that being said, with that global vision, I guess they want to make sure that they can respond to potentially Arlet or whatever else is going to be coming out afterwards, knowing that potentially Farsa could be in play. Might as well just let him have it. Zitian is always going to be decently good, but I want to see how they're going to build around the composition, right? Because again, it feels like after the release of Zitian, it's like, oh man, so very good. And then the hotfix came in, and then we had a little bit of an issue of Zitian being hardly first picked.
Yep. Look at this. Despite the Zitian being prioritized by Legion, Mongols don't care. Mongols are still going to play the Farsa, plus the Joy.
Okay. Interesting. I would have imagined that they want something with a little more CC within the first stage, but it could be that LG could have just started eliminating in the second phase, right? They've already got potential jungler on their side, could go into the gold lane. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe both of these teams have the same rough idea of how they want to play the game. But with Farsa in play, on top of that, Joy, even as Zetian does drop the ult, there's a lot of mobility to work with. Like Arlet, as long as there's a wave, they're able to dodge the abilities, and especially when you are playing Joy, naturally you shouldn't be able to get hit by that ult. Cho gets locked in for the side of LG. I think that is a great pick.
Again, Cram God proving to himself that, hey, even if Cho isn't as high of a priority, I can still make it work. He's a scalpel in a world of sledgehammers and chainsaws. This is exactly what Legion needs to make this lineup work. And Game 2, the previous game that we watched in the series, was proof of that. Going into the bans now, it's going to be Legion first to take out picks. How do you approach this? Gold laners? There it is. There's a Granger.
That's that Granger instantly banned out. This second phase is going to be really important, right? Because again, both sides are technically missing a gold laner. I say technically only because LG could be throwing that Yushin elsewhere. I hope that they don't and it stays in that jungle. But there's a lot of scary things looking at the Mongol side. Their first three, a lot of magic damage on their side. So it's only natural that they want to have some form of CC to kind of protect themselves against this Cho. I'm thinking whether or not Kufra might come into play, but I think there's not enough dashes to guarantee its value.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yes, you are compromising the Cho for sure. You are denying the traceless weaving in and out from Joga if he were to try that. But yeah, no, a blind Kufra here would.
Well, it actually doesn't matter because you're CC immune.
Yeah. But you'd still have to go through that. It would still be weird, but that's the only things you're getting out of a Kufra. So yeah, there's not much incentive for Shenlin to do that just yet. Instead, they're protecting. It looks like they're protecting the Arlet.
They might as well, right? Get rid of the direct counter matchup in this particular case. I think if we're doubling down on it, we should expect the Badang to also show up here as well. LG, on the other hand, getting rid of the Marksman's Granger and as well as the Bruno. I don't see much potential. Ooh, could they build a catch composition? I guess their chemistry really needs to work if they want to put like Beatrix and then work with the final slash. Very small window, very high chance of anti-synergy of pushing people out of the Bennett's Rage and things like that.
Yeah, looking at their history, again, I can't say for sure that Rin XK is a Beatrix specialist, nor is Daylight, but maybe an Irithel shows up here, because that seems to be the only other high priority gold laner left after the Bruno, the Granger, the Wan to get at the Moskov too.
Ooh, getting rid of the Harith this time round. All right. Wants to make sure that they're diversifying.
Because LG can still play the Harith.
Do they care as much though? I do agree that unfortunately for Zetian, she's not the biggest scaler in the world. I mean, especially when you're comparing her to Farsa, right? In terms of that raw burst damage in the later stage, level 15, full items, all pure damage. Farsa always wins out in the numbers.
So with that said, Legion now got one more pick. Do they lock in the Marksman now?
I think they can. I think they might have to, right? Oh, they go for Lapu instead. How deep are their pockets here?
They're letting the gold laner be picked by Mongols first, even when they were the first to ban out these gold laners.
Yeah, it's weird because this is where you would expect the pinch to actually happen in the first place, right?
Yeah.
But let's go over to the Mongols first. Let's see how they respond to this.
So they have to wrap up their lineup here. We're going to find out finally if this Arlet is indeed a roamer or an XP laner, likely an XP laner. And so that means the Mongols are lacking a roamer and a gold laner. There's a Tigreal. Wow, welcome back to the metagame.
All right.
It's been a while, and there's the Irithel.
All right, so Irithel, like you called it, but also the Tigreal this time around. Should this be the case? I guess Tigreal is not too bad, right? It's a pretty decent combo component in the first place with the Farsa, but the timing feels a little awkward, right? Because you're going up against Lapu. They lock in the carry into this?
I guess carry with a Purify into the Arlet and the Tigreal are good, but you're outranged by the Farsa. You're going to get beat down by the Joy when she gets to beat on you.
And even Irithel as well, in lane from the get-go. And that's even before the Malefic Gun.
You can't sit underneath those crossbows.
I don't know. I don't know about this one. This is an interesting order for Legion Esports, but they could change our minds here. They've got that momentum from game number 2 coming into game number 3.
Yep, and they know that the Mongols play at a specific pace. They know that the Mongols like to fight, so they might use that to their advantage. Pull them in, have the pick off from Cram God, which is, again, I think 80% of how they're going to make this thing work via Cram God. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 3 is upon us. Welcome to the Land of Dawn, the decider for the second best of 3 series in the wild card. Group A. We're going to find out who goes up into the winners group of this stage and who goes down to the lowers with 1 life left.
All right, let's see how this is going to play out. Makey already taking a pretty awful trade as Cramgod goes right on top of him. Oh my goodness, Makey forgot how she works. The passive knocks him out of position, and that's already first blood for Legion Esports.
Shocker using Zetien's passive, the knockback that has a long cooldown, but they used it the right way. The Mongols reeling here.
That's got to be so frustrating for Makey. He misses out on level 2. He misses out almost an entire wave, and now he's back in it. He should hit his level 2 in time, but Shocker is going to make him pay for every little bit of ground. Makey still so greedy. Forced to flicker out. That's all his resources. Renexk, however, still able to survive and finds the kill onto Daylight.
Okay, so a silver lining here for the Mongols. That gold lane situation is as we expected.
It is as expected, but even so, this is, it feels, I don't want to say desperate, but it's hyper-aggressive. And honestly, there's no reason for it to be that hyper-aggressive. You can play from a range. Yes, you should be coming in from side angles, but always keep close to your side of the map. Why push over so close to the Tier 1 on Legion Esports' side?
Is the Mongols we're talking about. You go faster, you go home, sir.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, yes, they still have that extra life, of course, assuming that they lose this.
Okay, so 2 minutes in, Turtle spawned. Great presence from both sides. The Mongols are setting up Zetsu to get his purple first. And it seems like they're not too late because Joga comes in. Oh, Mountain Shocker, they know. And where everyone is. And it's a clean take. Great effort, though, by Mumu. The flicker and the final slash not catching anyone. Zetsu pops the electrifying beats. Not going to be able to make that work. Daylight, though, almost gets caught by Mikey's feathered airstrike, but I think he was a couple of volleys away from going down. So Legion Esports are actually getting a lot out of these early trades, a lot of the speed that Mongols are throwing at them. Because game 2, if that's any solid, concrete example of how how Legion Esports is harnessing their opponent's force against them, is they can play on a pivot. We've yet to see Mongols do that. Mumu's in trouble.
He's going to try his best here. Joga will be able to take him out. And finally, a Yishin Chin that has got a couple of kills for himself to start this snowball going and a level ahead of Zetsu. In the meantime, again, the mid lane is hard. It's hard for Makey. He is behind on EXP, but not enough to really turn things around. And Joga happily, just a happy farmer here as Lapu Lapu is able to create that space for him walking into enemy territory. And that's going to be T1 falling into the hands of Legion Esports.
Oh my lord, 3 minutes 40 seconds. Joga is making bank. He's not just a level ahead of Zetsu. I'd reckon he's close to maybe 1,000 and change ahead of his counterpart on the other side of the map. And that's where I reckon a lot of this gold is for Legion Esports, despite just being 2-1 and 1 turtle up. Second turtle spawning in the lower quarter. RinXK just hit level 6, so I think Daylight has bought back a lot of the disadvantage he has in this losing lane.
Well, let's double check this, right? Let's look at the gold. And you're right. You're absolutely right. He's brought it down to at least the numbers, not even into the thousands, 200 gold only, which is pretty good. But now we see the kick come on through. Wait, the teardrops y'all just in time. Daylight will still find the kill here, but they now have information on everybody else. So unfortunate for the Mongols.
One would say it's counterproductive to kick a Tigreal into your lineup, but oh my lord, Zetsu with the steal!
He gets it. Joga in trouble. Mumu is looking to take it on. Takes out Joga in the process. Cramgod with no kick and no abilities. Oh, the final slash doesn't connect onto the right targets. LG will quickly back off.
In the snap of a finger, the blink of an eye, the Mongols walk away with a kill on Joga and a turtle steal. Wow, just when you thought they were down and out, what was that, a 3,000 gold lead for Legion from out of nowhere, pulled out from underneath.
A really big swing here, a huge swing in a matter of fact, and the best part is that Zetsu is able to start catching back up in terms of EXP because of the help of their boy Mumu, who seems to continuously be playing so far ahead of the Mongols to create these opportunities.
Mumu was genetically engineered to have a clutch gene. And he's harnessing that right now on the grandest stage that the Mongols have played in all of their team's history right now, in the wildcard against their fabled rival in Legion Esports.
Which is pretty crazy. Wait, hold on. The implosion's already through. Shen Lin finds the play to allow Rinix K to find an extra couple of gold into his back pocket. Happy boys, happy days.
6 minutes in, the Mongols have evened the kill score 3-3. They've yet to close the gold gap. But so far, look at this. If this is not confidence, I don't know what is. They're crossing over into Legion Esports jungle again, and they're trying to get daylight.
Oh, they're going to try. Final Slash does actually collapse on top of him. He doesn't want to go for any more. He just wants to create space so that Rinix K can actually take down this T2. And now the Shocker ends up falling as well. No passive, no problem. Zetsu takes him out with one quick sweep of the Electrifying Beast. Feathered Airstrike landing onto Meow. Oh, actually forcing out the bravest fire here. And now Cramgod, he's thinking about trying to set up a play, but I don't think they have enough damage. They just need to focus on clearing the waves. Oh, it doesn't get the cart, but still holds strong. T1 saved, as while this is happening, Joga on the top side, clearing waves.
Working on the map, it's the only thing that they can do. Legion Esports understands that even when they were up against the wall, into a corner, the Mongols still want to fight, and with that, they're able to secure the final turtle of the game, 2-1.
Yeah, look at this. I mean, there's a lot of respect coming in from Joga, right? He wants some feather airstrike towards daylight. They want to zone them off. They want to use their artillery to force them out of position to put more damage into the structures. It feels like Mongols, when they are looking to play the game, especially with a composition like this, it's funny to see that they're utilizing their artillery in the most real-world possible strategy that they can apply. Siege their opponents. Take the structures. Slowly take the space.
Yep, straightforward, akin to the strategies of old, the death ball, right? Convert where you find your opponent's corpses. Turn their ground into yours. Mumu here, dashing through, spots Joga. It's been a while since we've seen Joga actually find his footing, but now, after that single turnaround, Mountain Shocker here, he can't even push Zetsu back without there any risk.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Yishin Shin is that he needs to be able to switch between his range as well as his melee form to get continuous damage, right? He's got high continuous DPS, especially if he's able to interchange between them one hit at a time. Even so, there needs to be respect, because if he gets too close, he can still get one shot by Zetsu. You are still a very squishy marksman.
All right, gold difference, very small here. This is Rinix K farming up about 500 gold faster than Daylight, but in the jungle, there's what, 200, 300 between them. Of course, magic items are much more expensive. Final slash!
It comes through. Feather Airstrike is the next to fall. However, Meow is actually able. Mumu actually gets 3 in that stun. They continue to start pushing forward. Both sides looking to make big plays. Oh my goodness, Meow saving that scenario. That could have been so much worse for Legion Esports.
He had to commit the flicker, had to commit the ult, but got his team to where they needed to be. They won that trade. Yes, it was just but one pickoff, but it could have been disastrous. Look at the HP bars on Legion Esports. If the Mongols had their way, would have been a wipeout.
It would have been a wipeout for sure, but now they're looking to contest this next big objective. Well, okay, Way the Dragon onto Shenlin one more time. He still has the implosion. Looks to try and find the space. Doesn't get it. Joga is able to find at least the objective. Meow will give up his life for it.
Sacrifice well spent. Legion Esports, they had their eyes on the prize, and that prize being the Lord. Cramgod with the conceal, no one home.
So close, but not enough. Just a bit more. A pixel away. Meiki actually taking an aggressive angle here to try and punish Cramgod. Still able to survive. Man, if that G Kundo connected, that would have been a turnaround.
Okay, you know what? I'm liking this. These two teams are learning from each other. Game 3, deep into this best of 3. Legion Esports are now playing a little bit like MongolZ. You see how they were down a man? Mia was not on the map, but still, Cramgod said, yeah, I'm going to conceal. Boys, we can do this. We can try this.
Exactly.
He missed, but he's like, all right, no harm, no foul. I didn't die. We can try it again later.
I mean, it's one of the few cooldowns that you don't mind actually expanding, right? Using that conceal in that manner is great. And I think that the window of opportunities, and more so the footsies being played by both of these teams, is just getting tighter and tighter and tighter.
Yeah, and I think that's a tool that both of these squads will use more aggressively the longer we get into this game. Again, 10 minutes in, this is the first lord of the game. Legion marching up, making sure their investment on the map is paying off. I'm waiting for Shenlin's concealed play to work out. Ridex burned down to a third of his health, blasted. Joker gets to push in mid.
Oh my goodness, melted so hard as well. Keep in mind, I'm looking at battle spells. Both Mumu and as well as Cramgod have their flickers active. You can use it at any time. I don't think they want to use the nuclear option just yet. But in the meantime, the MongolZ, they need to wait for the next neutral objective to actually spawn to guarantee the fact that Legion Esports will clump up together. Do you think that the Way of the Dragon needs to be used a little bit? Wait, hold on. Conceal. On towards me outside, forcing out the Bravest Fighter. Conceal for the Bravest Fighter, not too bad. But it is a very short cooldown for this Lapu.
It's fine. He can afford to do this until the next perfect timing of the conceal, the next perfect flicker kick. Oh, Shenlin forced to use the implosion. What a mind game. A trap laid out by Cramgod. But yeah, you were asking, right? Where should Cramgod use the kick now in this turning point of the game, in this crossroads? Best case scenario, put it on Zetsu, put it on Mikey if you can. But I don't think he'd be so bad to put it on Shenlin, especially when the rest of Legion are there to collapse. A free pickoff, a 4v5 if you can make it.
Okay. I think if I want that scenario to work out, ideally Daylight and Shocker are coming in, at least split up just enough so they both don't get caught at the same time.
Yeah, by the sacrificial implosion.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because I think that at least for Daylight, it's not too bad. He still has Purify. It works out really nice for him. I think ideally he wants to hold it up for Mumu in case he tries to go for the big flicker play. However, one of these ults are going to hit, almost guaranteed. So the question is whether Legion Esports can stop the follow-up, and in this case, it's either Meiki or Zetsu. Rinixke has been playing a very timid game, at least.
Ideally, if they do that pick-off, the rest of MongolZ gets twice bitten, once bitten, twice shy. They make him feel like, all right, you know what? Shenlin's dead, let's leave him alone. That is best case scenario for Legion. But yeah, no, what if it's a reverse collapse? What if they baited Shenlin? Oh, there's a flicker!
And they find it, and they quickly drop the Satan ult as well. Meow quickly jumping away with the Bravest Fighter. Mumu doesn't find him. He couldn't get the final slash off in time, even with a flicker. Now, Joga, he's happy about this. He's not going to get as hard contested for this Lord. Renixke, he's nearby, but he can't seem to find the angle. Cramgod is forcing him to reveal himself. They're going to try, and Joga is going to be able to secure the Lord for Legion Esports.
Zetsu almost went for a full distance dash-in steal. Was not going to happen. Not on Legion Esports' watch, but as we talked about it, the build-up, the anticipation, Gideon, it happened. They baited out a response from MongolZ, but instead they got something better. They killed Mumu instead of Shenlin.
Yup. I mean, honestly, I thought Mumu was able to actually find that kill onto Mia. He had the flicker, the final slash. The animation was like inches away from his throat, but ended up getting blasted down by Daylight. Quick pickup on the Rose Gold Meteor is going to allow him to survive in these fights a little bit longer. I think his biggest problem right now is that Zetsu, as well as Meiki, are kind of pushing him into a corner.
You know what? Sometimes an inch is all you need. And that's all that mattered for Legion. They found the punish window, and they gave the MongolZ everything they got. And by that, I mean Mumu. And by Mumu missing from the fight, that's all that matters. And now look, the map is red. Legion Esports making the most of every single miss. They're going to be taking 2 inhibitors here.
It looks so good. Feather Airstrike is already going to be coming out. They move away from it. They don't mind it. Oh, wait, it's just 1 hit away. It's basically as good as gone. Ideally, they break it open so that the super minions will start spawning. Anyways, Joga finds his own Rose Gold Meteor, and things are working well for Legion Esports. You got to give it a Cramgod right now. He is getting everything out of the MongolZ. That's 2 ults that he has faked out from both Mumu and as well as Shenlin.
Yep, that's 2 back-to-back games wherein he is pushing the limit of what is possible with a single roam hero. He is literally carrying the weight of 2 or 3 initiators on his back via a single Cho ult, a kick, and his flicker. Like, he hasn't even spent it in the past 2 minutes. And already the Mongols are on edge.
Oh, here we go. The conceal comes through. LG is going to give a little bit of space here. Once they've revealed themselves, maybe they're going to pounce, but they don't have the information just yet. The next K is still nearby, but that Purify is such a big deterrent for Legion Esports. They're going to take their time with this.
Mind you, CrimeGod still has his conceal and his full kit. Can go ahead and reposition all he wants. Plus the double global, the double reveal. Oh, it's so bad. Compounded with the fact that Mongols are basically trapped inside their own base.
Yeah.
It's as if it's not enough that you know where they are. You have to make sure that they don't go anywhere else.
They're literally watching a live broadcast of not being able to do anything, right? It's just no information. You're revealed, and you just have to, like, I don't know, NPC dance real quick, hope for a donation.
They got a CCTV on you when they're right in front of you. That's so what do I do here? What
Sir, you're not allowed in the. I know I'm not allowed on the premise. You don't have to put the CCTV in front of me while you're at it.
You want to breathe down my neck too? That's exactly what Legion Esports are doing. That's why this 4,000 gold lead, less than that, feels colossal. No, it's 6,000. To 5,000 gold lead now for sure. I can math.
It's clean. It's clean for the side of Legion, but it's 5-5 in terms of the kill score. Now, the question is, Legion Esports, they still have the advantage of the missing inhibitor from the Mongol side on top. They're going to bait this out, right? Oh, the flicker and the final slash on towards Joker's side. He gets blasted in 2 hits. Zetsu steals away the Lord just in time as the bravest fighter comes on through implosions. Not going to find as much value as he wanted, but the Feather Airstrike is going to be the detergent. Legion Esports now running it down mid. 2-for-0 trade. The Lord going to be spawning only towards that 40 seconds. They still have 14 seconds left to play.
Lord is coming through bot. Legion Esports can find the Shocker very low. Pushed out of range. Joga and the rest of them protecting him, putting up a defensive wall to protect their mid laner. Daylight!
The donation comes through, and now RinXK gets to play the game for free. Making flickering forward to try and catch out Joka as the kick comes through. They find RinXK. Legion Esports, they thought they had this game in the bag, but the Mongols turn things around and now try to look for the outplay. Zetsu dashes right through the Makey. The next to fall with the help of the bravest fighter, Meow, should eventually fall to this Arlet. What a turnaround, and the death timers are huge.
We are far from TikTok timers, 3 minutes to be specific, but this is very much punishable. Despite the Lord going over to the Mongols, they lose that bottom lane inhibitor. That mid lane inhibitor is just but a whisper away from going down. Shenlin with the implosion!
What a play coming in from Mumu to set it up into the implosion, forcing LG to now lose another member. 35 more seconds until Cram comes back up. However, you can see that the base is split. The decision making is unfortunately not in place. The waves are not set up, and the Mongols cannot find a bigger punish on Legion Esports. All 3 inhibitors still available for Legion.
But if there is a silver lining to this, a reason for the Mongols and all the Mongolian fans to shine, is Legion Esports now seem to be playing to Mongols' pace.
Oh yeah.
Legion Esports are now suddenly out of their tempo and fighting where the Mongols want them to fight, even if it is messy, yes, even if it is not ideal. It's not how Legion Esports to respond. That's why this gold lead has shrunk.
It has. It's shrunk significantly, and we're going into the 20-minute mark. The death timers are vicious, so very vicious at this point of time. Looking at the item build, we do notice that at least for the side of RinXK, he's getting into that full build.
That's right. They are at deadlock. These 2 marksmen are firing off on all cylinders, so it's just a matter of positioning. It's a matter of not what you got, but where you're allowed to use it and how you use it against an opponent who is arguably your equal. Both marksmen are a threat now, but if I may, I think RinXK has it easier.
Way easier.
RinXK, especially off of the back of a final slash or an implosion. Oh, here we go. They're looking for one of the conceal. It's easier to pay off, to find a satisfying engagement with an Iritel.
I totally agree with you, and not to mention that he's opted to even get the GDS, the Great Dragon Spear, a very valuable item, because now you can actually weave in your auto attacks knowing that you have the extra range against someone like Daylight or even Joga, right? Just dash in, quickly hop in, hop out, weave in those auto attacks, extra passive as well. It's just value when the kick comes on through. Drop it dance all the same time. Shinlin doesn't get any value from the implosion. They get one. Wait, hold on. It does. Daylight finds Zetsu, and now Joka gets traded. Mumu makes the play as Daylight stays alive. Rex K cannot get into range. You can hear the players scream as the Winter Crown comes through, and there you have it. Meow tries, but doesn't find it. Meiki, the only one alive, the only one left against 3, against the odds, must defend the base.
And he does not have his feathered airstrike. He is holding on to his normal kit and a dream. There's 3 members of Legion in the base.
He's gonna try, but Zatan drops that on. The stun is gonna secure the game. There you have it. Legion Esports finds revenge. 2-1 victory against the Mongols.
May have taken them almost a year to get to this point, but they take the series 2-1.
Oh, what a game. What a game this has been. You can't believe it. You can't believe that it turned out the way that it did. Both sides having moments in the game to kind of shake things up.
And it was so satisfying too. The fact that there was moments of excellence, highlight plays for the Mongols to try and make Legion feel like, oh, we may have dropped the ball. We may have missed our window of opportunity here to win. But no, Legion never let go. Legion understood the assignment and said, they want to fight, let's just give them a fight.
And they gave one hell of a fight here. Again, it boiled down to a matter of auto attacks here. So many times we saw them actually getting very, very close to dropping the team fight. But RinXK, he tried his best here. He really put everything on the line.
And I wouldn't do anything less. I did not expect for him to do any less.